Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, and I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, your host, Jason Glick. What's up, Jason?
Hey, John. Yeah, it's almost Christmas.
Yay, Christmas. My least favorite and most favorite time of year.
Yeah. It's like, you like all the experiences that the holidays bring, but just like the build up to them. I mean, that's some like preparing for it. That's something awful.
I'm gonna be greedy and just say I like getting things.
Yes, you and me both.
I'm a good heathen. So, no, I also like the joy of giving and receiving. So but I like the giving part better. Anyway, so what do you have lined up for us tonight?
Okay, well, you see, what I've got tonight aren't exactly gift recommendations per se, but it's like, because chances are, it's like if someone's reading the series I'm going to be talking about, they're probably chances they've already gotten them themselves, or are making plans to get it. Mm-hmm. But see, I'm talking about two big ass hardcovers I've got collected over the past couple weeks. This would be Batman, the Black Mirror, and Green Lantern, the War of the Green Lanterns. Mm-hmm. Now, it should be if you're a long-time listener reader, then it should be perfectly obvious why I'm talking about War of the Green Lanterns, which I'll come to eventually. But Batman, the Black Mirror. Now, this is an arc. This collects the 11 issues of writer Scott Snyder's arc on Detective Comics before the whole big DCU New 52 reboot. And the thing is though, it's like, and one of the things I've been looking forward to reading this series, this arc for a long time, because I've heard no end of good things about it. Just how it's really really well written, very creepy, great art. Gives a definitive arc for the Dick Grayson Batman. It's just like one of the best Batman stories ever. Now the problem is though is that when you start throwing around shit like best Batman story ever, better than Batman Year One, like all that stuff. That kind of stuff on bullshit detector, and it's time to just assess things and bring things back down to earth. Now, because the first of all thing is so John.
Yeah.
When I say stuff like the Dick Grayson Batman, what kind of thoughts run through your head right there?
The Dick Grayson Batman?
Yes.
Tells me that the Robin was the original.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's basically that's see that, cause that's the thing, because I know you love Batman just as much as the next guy, but as far as the comics goes, I mean, you kind of buy the odd story every couple of years, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not a hardcore comic book fan. I am a casual comic book fan. I think that's a good way of putting it.
Okay, yeah.
So when it points out a title to me, then I will pick it up and I'll read it.
Okay, and also by extension, if someone tells you about how for the past year Batman has been quote unquote dead / lost in time, and Dick Grayson has taken over Bruce Wayne's mantle while protecting Gotham with Bruce Wayne's son Damian as the new Robin. It's you're gonna go what?
Sounds familiar, but I don't recognize it.
Yeah, it's yeah, that's the thing. I hate to put you on the spot like that there, but I mean, to a lot of the casual audience, like people who like Batman, people who DC really wants to reach out to, this the circumstances by which this story is set in is going to make it deeply impenetrable to the majority of the audience. Now, I will give Snyder credit. He does give, if you can just accept the fact that Dick Grayson is Batman and Bruce Wayne is currently right now somewhere else. Well, I mean, it's the hardcore fans like me know he's out setting up Batman Inc., bringing Batman to the entire world. But yeah, that's neither here nor there, and that'll be subject of a future podcast review on my site. But the Black Mirror, Black Mirror is basically Scott Snyder giving Dick Grayson's turn as Batman as a definitive story, because while Grant Morrison, who set up the new status quo, gave other writers mechanics and set up the ground rules for how to portray Dick Grayson as Batman. Scott Snyder, he's the guy who's kind of done a great job of running with things, and like showing you like, hey, not only is Dick Grayson as new Batman possible, it could actually really work. And I wouldn't mind seeing him run with it even further. It's like if not for the new reboot. Not saying that the reboot is a bad thing, but I'm just saying that I'm saying that there probably were per more than 11 good issues I'm collected right here, because the Black Mirror is like, it's not really like one huge arc, but it's nice. It's actually like a nice call. The way it's structured is kind of a nice callback to how like a lot of comics used to be structured. How like you get like small multi-story arcs, not like big six issue epics. You get like a couple good 3-issue arcs in the Black Mirror, the title story, of course, and Hungry City. Now the Black Mirror focuses on a school kid who freaks out after getting his hands on some Killer Croc serum, and then so Dick Grayson winds up tracking down the source of this. Finds out there's this underground subculture of the rich and powerful of Gotham, like who like to bid on these antiques of like horrible crimes, like stuff like the crowbar that beat down the Jason Todd Robin. It's like then you've also then you've got like Hungry City, which basically starts off with a giant killer whale winding up on the main floor of the Gotham City Bank. Then Dick trying to figure out the circumstances that brought it there, which also tie into the daughter of Tony Zuko, the man who killed his parents when he was a circus performer. Now, the thing I like most about Snyder putting Snyder's work with Dick Grayson as Batman is that over the years Batman has been, or Bruce Wayne as Batman has been built up as this kind of invincible problem solver, the kind of things like it's like no, Batman can solve anything. Batman will win against like absolutely everything you throw at him. That's why Grant Morrison has had to force Batman to fight against ideas over his course of it. Like he's had to confront Batman with fatherhood. He's had to confront Batman with the fact that there's this giant conspiracy that's been biding its time for years in order to finally take him out. Now then also setting up Batman to take his enterprise out over the world, stuff like that. With Dick Grayson as Batman, well, we know that Dick he's good, but he's not quite doesn't have quite the same detective mind that Bruce Wayne does. He doesn't have quite the same. He's close, but he doesn't have quite the same martial arts skills. So there's still, even though he's going to come out, he's eventually going to come out on top. There's still the tension, the fact that you're kind of wondering, well, how is he gonna solve being gassed and left at the mercy of Gotham rich and powerful? How is he gonna survive the being trapped on this giant underwater sub and then getting his way, finding his way to the surface? And also the fact that maybe in some cases he just won't be quite as quick to catch Chrome, but he will still wind up figuring out the source of the Scourge. So like I said, Snyder does a great job of selling the idea of Dick Grayson as Batman. I would have loved to see more stories featuring this take. That being said, the Dick Grayson's exploits aren't actually the main uber arc of this series, because like I said, even though it's structured with a lot of it's not structured as one 11-issue arc, there is still an underlying story that focuses on the return of James Gordon Jr., son of Commissioner Gordon, to Gotham City. Now, this is my first encounter with James Jr., and I'm assuming that he's been featured before in the series. He's a real piece of work. He's apparently he's creepy. He's apparently got a penchant for torture, but apparently he's all better now thanks to this. He's realized that he's a psychopath and now he's taking medication for it. Thing is, though, that it's like good old Jim Gordon. He can't quite bring himself to believe that his son is finally on the straight and narrow after all these years. And so a lot of the issues are basically dealt with how Commissioner Gordon and his daughter Barbara, how they it's like, and how they're trying to cope with James's return, and of course eventually how Dick factors into this as well. Now the thing is, while I will admit that Snyder gives it a shot of like portraying James as making a genuine effort to have shown that he's a changed person. It's like you look at this and you think that I don't think that any regular reader who has an experience with fiction, period, is going to look at James and think, hey, he's on the straight and narrow. I think he's an all right guy. I'd certainly buy candy from him. That's the thing, but I can accept that the characters in the story believe that there's some ambiguity there, and Snyder even managed some nice tricks with how they finally find out the truth about what James and what he's up to. But it's like, but this little James is kind of like, he's like, you look at him and there's no ambiguity to what he's up to. So that's kind of disappointing right there. What isn't disappointing, however, is the art, which is handled by two separate individuals, Jock and Francesco Francavilla. Now, Jock is best known to me as the artist as a regular artist on The Losers, and guy's a natural when it comes to drawing action centered storylines. The way his characters look in each panel, they've always got this like off-center look, like they're always like priming to just like jump into action or just move somewhere. Like, he's a great action artist, and his work on the Hungry City and Black Mirror arcs is truly welcome. It's like, as well as his contributions to the rest of the book. Now, Francesco Francavilla, I was not familiar with this guy at all before reading the Black Mirror, and I was just kind of figured he'd be the guy whose art I look at, and hope that, and just wait and just count the pages until I get back to looking at Jock. But no, Francavilla is fantastic. This guy, I mean, he handles the colors as well, and he gives it a great two-tone. It's like he gives it a great two-tone look that highlights the suspense, the suspense and sinister feel of Gotham City, and his characters like this great expressive and very expressive look about them. And he's got fantastic two-page spreads that are focused on the characters, like especially with this two-page spread of Batman, and then later on with Jim Gordon, reminiscing about his son, about James Jr. It's like Francavilla was a revelation to me, and I'd love to see more of his art, on Batman, or just, I know that whenever I see his name on a comic book in the future, it's gonna be worth looking at. He's truly some great, God, running out of euphemisms here. It's fucking good art, man. So really, it's like, Batman, like I said, Batman the Black Mirror, highly recommended. Certainly not one of the best Batman stories of all time, but it's like, if you are up on current Batman continuity, then it's certainly something I recommend checking out.
What was that called again?
Batman the Black Mirror.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, available only in hardcover for now. Yeah, but now it's like, move on to another series that as you all know, I've been reading for quite some time. That's Green Lantern. Now, it's like, those of you who remember, like, I talked about the last volume, Brightest Day, which basically was like 10 issues of Hal Jordan and the Rainbow Rodeo, going around Earth tracking down the entities, and essentially just doing a lot of, like, advancing a lot of plot mechanics for what Jeff Johns wanted to do, which was essentially this story. Basically, like, a lot of what Brightest Day was just setting things up for the entities to get captured by the renegade Guardian of the Universe, Krona, and eventually to have him take over not just the Guardians of the Universe themselves, but also the entire Green Lantern Corps. And he does this by inserting the entity of fear, Parallax, into the central power battery. Now, with Parallax, now with Parallax controlling all the Green Lanterns, and the rest of the Rainbow Rodeo trapped inside the Book of the Black, which contains all the pages of the Book of Oa that were ripped out years ago. All that's left are 4 Green Lanterns, no, 5 Green Lanterns that still retain their presence of mind. Hal Jordan, of course, Guy Gardner, John Stewart, and Kyle Rayner and Kilowog. All these guys are still in their minds because they've had previous encounters with Parallax, and though this number is eventually whittled down to 4, they're basically spearheading the charge to basically save the Corps and by extension the universe from Krona. Now it's like with War of the Green Lanterns, this is the first intertitle Green Lantern crossover since way back in the day with the Sinestro Corps War, which, as you'll recall, is a series that really got me started on reading Green Lantern. Now it's like with War of the Green Lantern, this means that you've got now unlike the Sinestro Corps War, which basically had Jeff Johns telling one particular story in Green Lantern, and then Dave Gibbons and Peter Tomasi just telling relevant, pertinent side stories to in Green Lantern Corps. This is a genuine intertitle crossover with John's Tony Bedard and Peter Tomasi, all telling advancing the story in each of their particular titles towards a certain end. And for the most part, it generally works pretty well. It's as I said before, when I read X-Men crossovers, I kind of don't want each. I mean, it sounds heretical, but I really don't like it when the for each when you're doing these kind of intertitle crossovers, for each author to be invest their personality too much into one thing, because that it's disruptive to the flow of the story. Ideally, I'd either like to have one person write the entire thing, or at least everyone just work together so it seems like one person is writing the whole thing. For the most part, that works pretty well. Though really all, as you might expect, all of the all the best stuff is saved for the Jeff Johns issue, since I'm imagining that he's obviously the man in the driver's seat here, and so there's plenty of good moments here. It's a lot of sound and fury with all the all the Green Lanterns fighting against themselves, but then you get some nice bits with John, with Hal Jordan and Guy Gardner fighting. Finding ways to mentally disengage from their rings on a sub-zero planet. Then they banter back and forth as they fly over to the fly back to Oa in the spaceship, and then Hal gets a great tells Guy, hey, you haven't had to fly with me yet moment. And then of course you also get to one of the moments I had to imagine John's been wanting to do for a while, and that's get the different colored rings on the rings of Hal, John Stewart, Kyle Rayner, and Guy Gardner. So basically, you've got these lanterns who are basically wielding rings that they're ultimately not suited for, and now they've got to go and save the universe. So, and of course, there's plenty of other good stuff here, particularly the bits where Sinestro's moving through the Book of the Black, then when you see the Guardians who have been possessed by the entities finally display some emotion. Overall, it's a well-written, well-constructed crossover, and and anyone who is reading Green Lantern is even if you're not reading the other titles, I haven't really been up on Emerald Warriors or Green Lantern Corps before reading this, but there's still a lot of great stuff here, and the end. And the end is also really well handled, especially in the sense that I still kind of, because this is also like Green Lantern's last hoorah before the New 52 reboot, and it left off on a really interesting footnote because Green Lantern its reboot version basically got some flack for the fact that they're not actually. It's not actually a Green Lantern in the New 52 isn't actually a reboot. It's a direct continuation of what Johns was doing before. And based on what I see here, thank God for it, because there's some like really interesting stuff to be done with the new status quo that's set up in the last couple pages here. So really, it's like I'm looking at judge solely on the fact that, hey, do I want to know what's going to happen next? Do I wish that we'd just gotten just a couple more pages to see what was going to happen? It's like yeah, I'd absolutely, it's like I'd love to have seen that. Of course, it bears to say that like anyone who really who hasn't been well versed or paying attention to the last couple of years of Green Lantern is going to look at this and find this completely and utterly unfucking penetrable. So it's like that's why I say that neither of these, both Green Lantern, War of the Green Lanterns, and Batman the Black Mirror, aren't really like continuity friendly Christmas gifts. But but hey, it's like if I hadn't bought these already, I'd sure as heck love to have seen them already under my Christmas tree. So overall, it's like War of the Green Lanterns, another solid entry in the Green Lantern library. It, like I said, if nothing else, it's going to get me to buy the hardcover version of Johns' first arc on Green Lantern, titled Sinestro Rebirth, from what I hear.
And is that it for your reviews today?
Yeah, that is it. Because like I've talked way too much about just two things, and I'm done. I'm going to call it a night, and then I'm going to go and probably write some more before going to bed.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we'll see you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick, and well, it's Christmas time, so I don't know. Will we be hearing from them before then, or? Oh
no! It's like next time you hear from me before the end of the year, though. Right. It won't be not enough time for the best of, but will be. But I'll hopefully find something inspired to close out the year with.
There we go. All right, we'll talk to you later.
All right, happy holidays, everyone.
All right, happy holidays. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.